past and present for myself real quick before I dive into the future. In 1865, Lincoln approved the joint resolution of Congress that the school system once taught me abolished slavery. This joint resolution is called the 13th Amendment. But after being encouraged to challenge what I had been taught and to educate myself, I discovered things that would break my heart but fix my vision. One of those discoveries would be the actual words found in the 13th Amendment. The amendment reads, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for a crime whereof the parties shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction." So you mean to tell me that abolishing slavery was just another way of saying you're reshaping slavery to be justified and reinforced by society and its law? Could this be the seed that was planted for mass incarceration? It's funny, because then the 8th Amendment claims that cruel and unusual punishment shall not be inflicted. Yet you're considered a slave once you're convicted of a crime you may not have even done. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something here, but I'm only painting what I see. You see, the difference between the way we fight today and the way we fought in the civil rights era is that activism was completely different back then. We didn't have our cell phones to distract us from the problems we sometimes don't even know is affecting us. I mean, I wasn't alive yet, but I could imagine how much more people were engaged with the physical world rather than the digital one we constantly swim in today. It's like activism has its own economy, and at one point, it was so high in demand because people were not happy, though few chose to speak up and lead. People were more aware and affected by the problems going on in society, so they were scared to speak up, but quick to advocate for anyone who did. Today, it seems like an issue is only an issue until a new hashtag or trending topic emerges. People can literally change the political climate without even leaving their bed in the morning. If I wanted to give this speech 60 years ago, I would have had to get a crowd together or travel to an event to speak at or something like that. But today, I can record a podcast straight from my bedroom and the whole world can hear it. I think that this is amazing in the short run, but in the long run, is this necessarily a good thing? Activism was so high in demand yet so low in supply. I feel like things have taken a 180 spin when I talk to some of my peers and community members. Yes, I talk to amazing people who want to make change every day, but that's the rare percent I surround myself with. Most of my other conversations with people are usually with people who have no care for what happens, what has happened, or what will happen. They are simply satisfied and comfortable with life and society, and are more worried about the new iPhone, new Netflix series, new video games, new sneakers, getting marijuana, and etc. Sometimes it seems like nobody really cares about the value of knowledge and awareness. Ever since I broadened my perception on life, my peers have been the hardest people to converse with, though they were once the easiest. Though I do believe that through programs like MBK, creating more youth leaders for our generation to follow is a vital step in ensuring our society progresses in the right direction. So what are some of my hopes and thoughts on future civil rights? As great as prison reform once sounded to me, I now find myself leaning more towards prison abolitionists like Angela Davis, who don't just want reform, but want reconstruction on the entire system. Why are people leaving prison more likely to go back? Why are people physically and mentally abused each minute? Why are our so-called leaders attacking hate with hate? Attacking hate with itself will only make it multiply. Why does the land of the free have 5% of the world's population, but 25% of its prison population?
Right.
Did you know that 97% of prisoners didn't get a trial? And sources say that if that 97% of people had gotten their trial, the system will fall apart. When speaking to an advocate of abolition, they will often refer to reform as a cheap band-aid on the problem. We don't want to patch holes or shave down the unfairness and infliction that already exists. We want a completely new system that allows prisoners to rehabilitate like they're actually human, and for decisions to be made with actual morality and justice. My hope for the prison is that we can reconstruct it into something more humane. Not saying that we should reward people for bad deeds, but we shouldn't return the bad deeds with cruel punishment and treatment either. Do two wrongs make a right when 77% of prisoners went back to jail within 5 years of their release in 2005? Where are we headed? Where are we headed with this prison system cycle in our communities? Where are we headed with a school system that only educates people enough to believe what they're taught, but not enough to challenge what they've been taught? The only thing I can truly say about the future is that what we do now will determine what it looks like. We need to start acting, uniting. We need to start acting and uniting instead of just talking and fighting. I believe that the pressure from the people will be what makes change, especially pressure in the economy. Remember where pressure got us in 1863 when Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation to free the slaves only in rebellious states? Not like anybody really listened, but it happened, right? I can go on for days with more examples like this, but I'm going to start getting ready to wrap this up. So I'm going to conclude this with saying that my hopes for the future is that we live in a world with a fair and meaningful set of rules, programs, and systems. Though my thoughts on the future is that it will take a long fight with immoral and irrational power.